If you are a video creator, you're going to need one of these, or you're probably going to need one of these. This is an external monitor. Now, specifically, this is the Feelworld F5 Pro. This is a version for Feelworld sends this out to me for review. I've been using it for a couple weeks now, and I like it. I want to share some of the specs, features with you, and just what my overall user experience has been. Now, this is a 6-inch touch screen field monitor. It goes on top of your camera. It attaches via HDMI in. It also has an HDMI out, and you are able to view the video that you're shooting with your camera on a slightly larger screen. This model specifically has 500 nits of brightness, so it's going to be totally fine to see during like golden hour. Middle of the day though, you're probably going to want a monitor hood. Luckily, when you get this in their kit, it comes with a little plastic kind of Velcro monitor hood situation, and that works fine. Or you can get a monitor cage like I'm using right now on the monitor I'm using to view myself, which is from Nitsy, and I'll leave a link to it in the description down below for you guys. But along with 500 nits of brightness, you also have an NPF style battery on the back, as well as a dummy battery. And we'll get to the dummy battery in a second. Using the dummy battery is awesome because it allows you to do things like hook up a video transmitter. This is the Axoon CineView HE, kind of your basic HDMI video transmitter. It allows you to slap it on the back, and that way you can power both of these devices with one NP style battery. And it makes it really, really nice if you need to make something like a director's monitor or a monitor for someone pulling focus, because you could just attach your focus wheel to the side on a cage. That way everything's powered, one battery, really simple, really compact, really, really nice. When using the dummy battery on the back though, you will notice that there are specific instructions on this little sticker about how to readjust the position of the dummy battery. I had no idea of this for the first 2.5 weeks that I owned it, and I found that the antennas from my video transmitter were kind of bumping up against my NP battery that I was using on the back. Didn't really work out, and then I read the manual and realized I could change it. This monitor has a bunch of video assist features. So if you're shooting log, or if you're shooting any other kind of color profile that you're going to change after the fact, it's really important to use some of the video monitoring tools like waveform, false color. My favorite is false color personally, because it makes exposing for skin tones really, really easy. Even though this is a touch screen, you can enable and disable that touch screen functionality. So let's say you're shooting in the snow or rain, although I wouldn't think that this is that weatherproof. But if you're in climates where you have to use gloves, let's say, and you can't really touch the screen, you do have a full suite of buttons right on top. Now, with the buttons on top, you have an F1 and an F2, and those are kind of like custom modes that you can set up and use on this, so that if you want a couple different tools on F1, you want a couple other tools on F2, it makes it really easy to switch back and forth. I think this would be perfect for something like false color on one, and then the other one being like focus peaking. That way you can see where the exposure is in your image, and then you can just switch right back to like using the monitor as you would want to use it to check focus, check composition, etc. Because with false color, if you've never used false color before, definitely look it up. It makes shooting video content super, super easy and super, super simple, especially when it comes to photographing or videotaping skin tones. Talking about input and output on this monitor, we have a headphone jack on the bottom along with a USB Type-C port for power delivery. The monitor I'm using right now, for the longest time, I was just powering it off USB battery packs, because in Vietnam, camera gear is kind of harder to come by. We also have a DC out at 8.4 volts, which means if you wanted to hook up a dummy battery, let's say to your Sony camera, you could power all of this using this monitor kind of as your charging hub, and just use big NP batteries. I'm talking about input and output on this monitor. Over on the left side of the monitor, we have HDMI in, HDMI out, if you want to go ahead and loop that for a video transmitter. We have DC in. On the bottom, we have DC out, USB Type-C in for charging, and a headphone jack. We have quarter 20 mounts with locating pins on the top, right side, and the bottom of this. And this whole kind of unit is probably 1.5 pounds. It's not that heavy. but that's because it's made of kind of cheap feeling plastic. I would totally trust this monitor in like a YouTube studio, something that's semi-permanently set up. I would say that this is probably fine to mount on like a gimbal as well, but you're definitely going to want to add a cage to it so you can have a more kind of substantial top visor situation going on, just because the hoods that comes with this falls off. My hood broke on my model after like a week of use. But overall, for a monitor that comes in at under 200 bucks, being able to just kind of set it up really, really simple for a director's monitor, maybe add a cage, add a focus wheel on one side so that you can go ahead and pull focus, and having kind of this entire package being really streamlined, compact, and small is super, super nice. If you're looking to pick up a monitor at under the $200 price point, I've been using my Feelworld monitor now that I have on my camera for 2.5 years almost. It's gone through hell, works totally fine, and I can attest to the overall build quality of Feelworld products. They do make brighter monitors, but those monitors with the 1000 nit panels are well over the $200 mark. And at that point, if I'm going to be spending that much money for an external monitor, I'll probably just pick up something like a used Atomos Ninja 5 so I can also record if I want to. Plus, those Atomos monitors and recorders are a little bit higher quality and a little bit more premium. Let me know what you guys think if you have any experience using Feelworld monitors in the comment section down below. And until next time, it's been Mitchell. Peace.